Hey there, this is your host Brian, and I'd like to introduce our special guest today, Clarke Bishop of Tech Marketing Team. Clarke has been the owner and leader of several technology service companies, and he knows just how painful it can be to put in all the time and effort to educate yourself, to work hard, yet still fail to realize your business dreams. If you're the owner or leader of a technology service company, then it's highly likely that Clarke's been exactly where you are right now, and he knows how to answer all of these problems, and those answers will lead to marketing that really works, attracts new customers, increases profitability, and helps you focus on the most effective growth strategies that will help you get the most out of your business. In today's interview, our topic is going to be all too common technology marketing mistakes. Clarke, welcome and thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you, Brian. I'm looking forward to talking with you.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Clarke?
Sure. Well, I am like many of the people in the audience. I have a very strong technology background. Starting as an electrical engineer, I fell in love with electronics when I was in junior high school, and went to college to learn all about radios and electronics and those kinds of things. And got out of college, started working for IBM, and I've been involved in and around technology ever since. Um, and what happened to me about 20 years ago, I was leading a software development company, and we were just in the right place to really jump on top of and capitalize on the dot-com boom, but it didn't happen for me, and it didn't happen primarily because of marketing. And so after having learned that lesson the hard way, I decided I was really going to master marketing. And so for most of the last 10 years, I've been doing marketing for myself, helping others with their own marketing, helping them attract customers, helping them grow their businesses, and having a great time doing it and having great results from it.
Well, that's fantastic, Clarke. And I know personally, as an internet marketer, how difficult things can be. You can create something very great, put your heart into it, and it turns out it just doesn't get any sales at all simply because you don't have effective marketing. And so I'm glad to have you here today, and I'm sure you can help all our listeners really maximize their own abilities and understand what they're doing wrong and what they need to do in order to leverage their own efforts to have effective marketing.
Absolutely. It is so frustrating to know that you're smarter than the next guy, that you're better educated, that you've worked harder, that you've got a better product, and yet you're still watching somebody else take all the sales and take the prizes. It's just no fun.
Oh, I know exactly the feeling. So, can you tell me, Clarke, in your experience, why do technology service firms often make the marketing mistakes that they do?
Well, I'll tell you, Brian, I think the number one reason is that the things that make us really good at technology sometimes make us really bad at marketing. And as an example of that, I see this over and over again when I look at marketing materials that technology and technology service companies and IT companies have created. It's all about the what. Well, we have what we have is the fastest computer, or what we have is we've got the best experts in Microsoft Exchange, or what we have are people that can solve any kind of problem with your network or your computer systems, or write software in some obscure language or anything like that. And it's all about the what. The problem is that people don't buy the whats. It seems to us like they do because we're dealing with the whats all day long, but people buy because of the why. They buy because of what's in it for me. What's my problem, and how am I feeling about it, and why do I want this? And that creates a big disconnect for a lot of people who are very good in technology, because they don't understand why their prospects and potential customers and current customers don't get it. They don't get it because we didn't explain the why to them. As soon as they get the why, it's like, well, why didn't you say so? And I see that over and over again.
Yeah, so I can understand that especially, and I think that is even in very basic sales background, you have a lot of people who end up trying to sell features, and they say, well, this is what it can do for you, this is why it's great, and this is why you should buy it. But the people don't really connect on that level. There's has to be, in my experience, an emotional connection, and I find that people will justify what they buy based on how they feel. It's not always completely logical, and when you set something up like you have, and you work your butt off to make a fantastic product, and then you think, well, people will realize how amazing this is, they'll realize why it's better than the competitors, and I really put my heart into it, and then it turns out that nobody buys it simply because the marketing and the product are simply not on the same level.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And, a related thing that I see is that people involved with technology service and managed service providers, all these different ways that people help their customers use technology, we tend to be very analytical buyers. And it's because we're used to looking at things, we're used to looking at specifications. What's the speed of the CPU, or what's how much memory do we have, and we love specs and specifications and all these details. And so then when it's time to get some marketing help or try to do our own marketing, we take a very analytical approach to that. And the problem with that is that when you can't, marketing pieces aren't interchangeable the way that, say, hard disk drives are.
Mm-hmm.
So with the computer and with computer networks and technologies, we're used to being able to plug things in and out. And it doesn't work with marketing. All the pieces have to fit together. So, you know this from doing internet marketing. It's actually, sometimes people will call me or ask me and say, well, I've got this great product, or I've got this great service, and we do great work for our clients. All we need is more traffic coming to our website. Well, maybe that's not what you need. Maybe you actually need less traffic, but more of the right traffic. And so I see that because it's relatively easy to generate a lot of traffic for a website, but generating the right traffic, the kind of traffic that's going to turn into customers, that can be a lot more challenging. And so I see people trying to take that analytical, technical approach to marketing and mixing and matching the pieces, or chasing whatever seems to be the hot topic of the day, and just ends up going nowhere. It's very frustrating.
Oh yes, absolutely. And I can understand that, because when you're marketing, when you're building, you're in sort of a different frame of mind than when you're, say, consuming, when you're looking for something to help you out. And I understand that traffic, it sounds great and everyone thinks, oh, if only I had more traffic, when really it's their process that's what they need to fix. And then their process, if they fix that even with just a little traffic, they would get much, much better conversions. And so I'd like to ask, what is, with all the people you've worked with, what would you say is the number one mistake, or generally missed opportunity, that you see most of these technology services really overlook?
The thing that I see coming up over and over again is people thinking that marketing means leads.
Mm.
And that's certainly part of marketing, but it's drawing way too narrow a definition of what effective marketing really is. So, on the surface, it does make sense that if you want to grow your business and grow your revenues, well, yeah, I just need to get some more customers. So that sounds good. And so I see companies wasting huge amounts of time and resources chasing after new customers and occasionally winning one, when there are much more effective ways of building your business. And it's not that we neglect creating leads and attracting new customers. It's just there's so many different types of strategies and approaches that you can use. So you want to start with the things that are going to give you the best return most quickly. And then as your company grows, other strategies can make sense for you. So frequently we see that the number one thing that will get results for a company is to focus on increasing the lifetime value of the customers that they already have. And
So, I'm sorry, go on, Clark.
no, go ahead.
I was going to say, so uh, in your experience, there have been a lot of people, what they do is they chase customer, chase customer, chase customer, and when they finally get it, they think, oh, I need to go after the next customer, and just keep going after the next customer rather than, I guess I could say, providing substantial value for that one customer that they have repeatedly to try and get them to become a consistent customer, recurring customer that will just always come back to their business whenever they need anything that pertains to what that business offers.
Well, it's that, and it's also constructing offers that make it natural for customers to spend more with you. Because people that already know you already have a sense of who you are and what you can do. They already have some trust in you. I think that's the single biggest problem with selling IT services is if you're a non-technical person buying IT services, which is the typical situation, you don't really understand what this person is going to do to you. And maybe you've had some bad experiences in the past. You don't really know what's going to happen. You think you're hiring somebody really bright to manage your email server and your email infrastructure, and then that goes along for a while just fine, and then all of a sudden the provider that you selected is holding you hostage somehow because they got annoyed with you. And so you've had those kinds of experiences. You know that what you're doing is, you know that your business depends on its technology infrastructure. You know that you've got to get this right. And I'm talking about the customer here. And yet here's this person from a new company you're trying to talk with or considering, who's telling you, oh, this is what you need to do differently. You need to switch from this platform to this platform, or you need to install these different elements. And as the customer, you have no way to assess that. So the number one thing that you've got to establish is trust. Now, people that have worked with you for a little while already have that trust. So all they really need is for you to do a good job of finding other problems that they have, and they're happy to let you solve them for them. They're actually scratching their head thinking, well, this is a problem, or maybe they don't even know it's a problem yet. But when you show them a problem and what you can do about it, then it completely changes the relationship. And I see lots and lots of technology service companies that have gotten themselves into too narrow of an area, which is actually great for attracting new customers. But then once the customer is there, you want to expand their role or expand your role with them and increase the overall revenues from that customer. It's actually great for both sides. It's great for you. It's great for your customers. I'll give you a quick example of that is that almost all of our technology service companies have customers we've worked with in the past that have drifted away from us for whatever reason. So do you have a really great strategy in place for reactivating past customers? And, there are a lot of places, I guess there could be a situation where somebody was really unhappy with you, but a lot of times your customers will just drift away, or maybe they did a small project with you and you didn't really follow up with them too well. So they like you, they think highly of you, and they're so much easier to sell to than new customers who don't know you yet.
Oh, absolutely, and I understand that. And it sounds like what you're saying, it kind of reminds me of almost like online used car salesman, where you have these people and they convince you and then they get you to give them your money and then they either don't deliver or they're giving you far less than what you expected, hence you saying that it's like they take you hostage, and because you at that point are at their mercy. And so naturally when that happens to people, then they're going to be kind of jaded, and then it really puts a bad vibe through them when they deal with technology or anybody with technology services, and they're thinking to themselves, oh, well, I don't want to get scammed again, or I don't want to get taken advantage of. And so then it makes it so you have to really prove that you're the good guy, that you're there to help them, that you're not going to do what the last person did to them. And I find the upside of that would be that because of their bad experience, and because I know our listeners, they might be thinking, oh, well, now it's going to be tougher for me because all these people that have been scammed or jaded in the past, they're going to think that I'm going to do the same. Well, the benefit, in my opinion, the good out of it, is going to be that if you treat them right, if you build that trust, then they're going to stick with you like glue because of their experiences in the past. Because when they find that you're a good person and that you're going to help them, you're going to walk them through what they need, and you're going to give them the technical support that you know that they want, then they're not going to ever want to go with anybody else because they're going to feel like they found the golden egg, if you will.
Exactly.
Does that sound about accurate? Yeah.
Exactly. And one more thing about the used car example you gave.
Mm-hmm.
The situation with technology is even worse than the used car, because if you go buy a used car and it doesn't work the way it was supposed to work, at least you got scammed.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with non-technical customers, they might be getting scammed and not know it, and they don't realize it until much later. So the cost of people not doing things the right way, and sometimes getting scammed can just be a source come from ignorance. And
that could be too. Yeah, I understand that.
So we're all challenged to keep up with all the latest in technologies, and sometimes take on projects that maybe we're not exactly the best company to deliver. And so we can accidentally scam our customers, and it's certainly not recommending that, but it's an ongoing challenge to make sure that customers are really taken well, that we do a good job really taking care of our customers.
Oh yes, certainly. So definitely customer service. Would you say that is the primary goal behind the business?
Customer service, and an interesting thing about technology in particular is that the ideal technology becomes invisible. We just want, when we pick up our cell phone, we just want it to connect the call.
Yes.
We don't want to have to think about it. It's only when things aren't working that we start really noticing technology. And so people that are our customers just want to run their business and do their business. They don't want to they don't want to all of a sudden not be able to serve their customers because their point of sale terminals in their stores are out. So the ideal technology is invisible, and that's really what our customers want. And they want to feel like they can count on us to keep the technology invisible.
And if anything does come up, they want to be able to count on you to be able to remedy the problem quickly.
Yeah, and as fast as possible.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I think that is all over the place. I've seen it in many businesses myself, and then the customers get upset because the people who are running the business can't get their technology going right, and then it's just a fiasco. And so when you have a reliable company that you know is going to be there for you, hence, the customer service, customer support, I think if you really, really do that well, then you're going to have a customer for life. And that's how I am with, say, even my internet hosting. I pay more for my hosting, but it's because my providers get a response to me so quickly, and they're always there to help me, that I'm willing to pay more because I know that they're going to do that and they're going to be there for me.
Exactly. The big cost is if your ISP is down, or your web sites are not working. That's a huge cost. And so if you know you're not going to have to deal with that, it's worth more to you.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So we've definitely gone over a few mistakes so far. Are there any other big ones that you feel really affected technology service businesses?
Um, well, I've actually got a pretty long list, but
Uh-oh.
I'm sure more than we can do today. But um, uh, uh, another one that I do see regularly is companies trying to misuse technology to solve marketing problems.
Oh.
So since we're technology people, we naturally think, well, oh, I bet there's an app for that.
Hmm.
So you go to whichever is your favorite app store and start buying marketing apps, or maybe you buy an email app of some sort and think that, oh, I'm just going to email people like crazy and my business is going to grow and life's going to be great. And of course, the people that sell the email app are going to tell you that's exactly what's going to happen.
Oh, yes.
So it's so it's just like it's just like one of those old stories you hear about. Well, I bought Microsoft Word so it would write business letters for me, and I turned it on, and it's just sitting here with this white page. What's the problem? Why isn't it writing business letters for me? Well, you do sort of have to write your own letter, and so it's the combination of having the powerful technology and using it well that makes a difference. And I'll give you a corollary of that, which is I see companies all the time. Something that's really funny is that everybody has gotten so enamored of internet marketing and online marketing,
Hmm.
or the latest whatever's the latest thing that people get excited about, Pinterest or Instagram or whatever.
Oh, yes.
Um, Everybody's forgotten about picking up the phone and calling somebody. Now, I'm not a big advocate of cold calling,
Hmm.
but a blended marketing strategy that mixes online marketing with direct mail with appropriate telephone calls at just the right time can be very powerful to get through to people and connect with people in the right way. Um, so there's a funny thing. I see people that there's some we're sort of wired that when we get an email, we send an email back.
Oh,
Well,
yes.
maybe it's a good idea to pick up a phone every now and then.
You know what? And I think there's a lot of truth to that, but I also think that a lot of people these days, they've been so, and I'm hesitant to use this word, but I guess it might work, is spoiled by being online that there is almost an aversion to human contact. And I think that this shows in just about any business these days. Now, when you call a business and then it's an automated line, and I think people just sort of come to expect that now. But I have called businesses, one of which I actually used to work for. I used to work for Toyota, and I call them, and they don't have that line. I go straight to a human being, and for me, that's refreshing. And even though that doesn't necessarily correlate with the whole technology business, at the same time, it could if you offer that level of customer support where you're there, where people don't think, when they think of you, when they think customer support, oh, well, I have to go through this process and I'll have to wait a few days before I get any information back. I find that if you or if they can just pick up the phone and call you, then that makes a massive difference when they could just get a hold of you right then and they don't have to feel like it's a chore to go through all of it.
Exactly. Exactly. So we probably don't have time for some of these others, but I'll touch on the list of some of the other things I really see regularly. One other mistake is people not measuring ROI effectively, so they don't really know what's working. And they're not doing the right things, but they don't know it. Related to that is trying to do too many different things at once, too many strategies, not enough focus. Another one is trying to use consumer marketing tactics when really what we're doing is selling business to business, and it's different. But a lot of the marketing we consume is consumer oriented, so we kind of want to think that way. But then when you try to use those consumer techniques, it comes across as kind of cheesy to our business oriented prospects. So, I'd certainly be happy to talk about some of those other topics another time.
Oh, absolutely. And I can understand real quick, just in case people didn't understand what it is when you said ROI, I'm assuming you mean return on investment, correct?
Exactly. So
Okay.
there's seemingly an infinite number of things that you could do in marketing on the internet, but which ones, do you want to buy Super Bowl ads or do you want to do something a little more cost effective?
Well, of course, then it's going to come down to your target audience, like you said. And if it's business to business, you're trying to advertise from producer, you, to producer, them, rather than consumer. So I guess I can understand really when you say it would come off as cheesy to them when you're trying to advertise them as consumer when really you're advertising to a producer.
That's exactly right.
And there we go. All right. Well, we are getting pretty up there in time, so I think that we should probably be wrapping things up. So, Clarke, this was very fantastic. It's been a pleasure talking with you. Thank you again so much for your time. And if you're listening to this interview and you'd like to learn more about how to identify and fix the marketing mistakes in your technology business, Clarke has generously offered a free 30-minute marketing tune-up call, especially for listeners of this interview. In this tune-up call, Clarke will help you identify what might be the biggest holes in your marketing strategy as well as the biggest opportunities for additional profit in your business. Spots are limited and will be available on a first-come, first-served basis, so if you're interested or even just curious to learn more, then you're going to want to sign up for one of those spots and reserve a free one-on-one marketing tune-up call with Clarke at no cost. To do this, visit techmarketingtuneup.com. One more time, that's techmarketingtuneup.com, all one word. So thanks again so much for being with us, Clarke. I really appreciate it.
Certainly. Thank you, Brian.